Okay, are we live here? I think we should be. Let me just double check just to make sure that everything's coming through correctly for you, the sound and everything else. Let's see. It seems to be. Okay, yeah, it is. Hello everyone. So everything is live, everything is working. Thank you so much for being here, and let's play some TF2 together and have a lot of fun. And my internet connection is a bit weird today, so I hope it doesn't crash in the middle of the stream, but let's give this a try. Hello everyone. By the way, my neighbor is throwing a party in the house next to mine, so if you hear some background noise, it's probably because of that. They're doing some karaoke just now, so I'm not really very lucky with the time I set my streams to, but that's fine. Hey, hello there, Lucas, Mr. Cropliner, Dr. Kebab, Dominic, Desk, Apple. Glad to have you here, Apple. It's been a while. Very nice to have you here. And also Zofek, hello there, and Mr. Kebab and Cropliner again there on chat. Spyoshi, hello there. Green Knight, hello, and Dark Knight as well. Hello there, Dark Knight. Glad to have you all here, fellas. Today we'll be playing on the Miami server, as you can see. The IP is in the description down below as well, so feel free to join and play with us. We're already with some people there having fun on Medieval Harvest. We'll play some medieval modes today, just a little bit. And if you don't know how to connect to community servers, all you have to do is come here on Find a Game. By the way, my screen is open, right? Yes, it is. You can see my game. On Find a Game, Community Servers, then you go here on the Favorites tab and you click on this button, Add a Server. And then you paste in the IP here and it will show up for you on this small screen, on this small box, for you to select and connect to it. So that's how you can get here to play with all these good people that often plays with us on stream. So yeah, fellas. Very nice. And Joker Miles is there as well. Hello Joker Miles, Luno, Rial, glad to have you here, Rial. Meme time as well. And Mr. Cropliner is saying I should teleport tons of bread to Russia to create a monster. The Russian people suffer enough, you know, don't do that. It's hard enough for them, just as it is for us here in Brazil, you know. So don't do that, please, Mr. Cropliner. And Dominic is talking about competitive 12v12. He was suggesting earlier, before the stream started, that perhaps I should, you know, even if momentarily, make a server that uses 12v12 with stopwatch mode. You know, that's what he's talking about there on chat. And for those of you who don't know, stopwatch mode is that game mode that competitive players like to play on, you know. For example, on payload maps. Got you there, your last grape. 6 versus 6 is often played with stopwatch mode enabled. For example, if you are playing a payload map, the main goal isn't to necessarily cap all points, but to actually cap more points than the opposition, than the enemy team, and also capture them faster than the enemy team. yeah, I survived that, you know, because with the hula pool caber you really have to hit the first strike and then hit again, otherwise you're not gonna kill the other person. So yeah, I've played stopwatch mode before a couple of times and it is a lot of fun. I remember when Meteor Match first launched that it was and now you got your revenge, Dr. Kebab, very nice. I remember that it was enabled by default on casual when Meteor Match launched, and it was very confusing because people weren't used to playing like that, you know, and the matches would end very quickly, so you know, it can be fun, but I think for a more casual gameplay experience it really isn't the way to go, stopwatch mode. And maybe we could make a special stream, like get a close team of 12 players versus 12 players to kind of like make a mock-up match or something like that, you know, a match for fun. Hey Apple, glad to have you here with your lovely unusual effect, pretty cool. But for regular streams, I think it would kind of like change the mood of it, you know. I would then try hard, very, you know, hard, and I don't think we would be able to have a fun experience as we usually do here on these streams. But maybe one day, you know, kind of like sort of a special event or something like that. That could be fun, could be nice. Hey, meme time, has no school this week, nice, I hope you enjoy your free time. Very nice. And cropping, Ellison is there as well, hello there Ellison, glad to have you here. And Misa there, hello my friend Misa. Hello fella Linux user, hello there. Misa and I are from the Linux Master Race. There is the PC Master Race, as people like to joke about. And inside the PC Master Race, there is the Linux Master Race. I've seen people joke about that as well before. You know, depending on who you are asking to, it's either the Linux Elite or a bunch of nerds. So yeah, I think it's more likely a bunch of nerds. I know I am a huge nerd. I don't know about you, Misa. But yeah, glad to have you here, my friend. Come play with us if you can. Very nice. And Sofek saying there, I'm thinking about making a video about Spy, but I don't know if I should read the script myself or make it text to speech. I really dislike my voice because it is too high and feminine. Ah, that's an interesting take, Sofek. I don't know. I think you should probably use your voice, because I used to think my voice isn't that good as well, and especially for videos in English. You know, I have my native accent from Brazil, and when I started making videos in English, I was like, my voice will be a problem, you know, the way I speak will not help me out here. I'll have to change that. And you know, you get used to it and you get better with practice. So I feel like if you don't use your real voice, then you won't really be practicing how to get better with it. And if you think it is a problem, then it will continue to be a problem forever for you, you know. Sure, there are some things you can't really change about your voice. You can do some editing to it, but I wouldn't go as far as edit a whole new voice. I would preserve some of your natural voice. But, you know, I don't know, try recording it yourself. I think it would be better. Text-to-speech videos can be a bit tiresome to watch, and I've even saw some people having trouble with them, like, because the video is text-to-speech, that YouTube detects it as spam. Because there's a lot of spam videos on YouTube that are only text-to-speech, you know, that kind of like robotic voice and stuff like that. So I think it would be better for you to try to avoid that, Sofek. And you know, go for it. Just try recording your voice, learn how to do that, improve your skills, you know. Don't be ashamed of how you sound. That's what I mean to say, really. Okay, let's try to pursue the spy here. Come on. Try a trick step. Try to... okay. Okay. I don't know if Salgado was trying a trick step there, but that was interesting. And everyone is here. Okay. I'm gonna die to this Demonite. I'm putting myself at an disadvantage because I'm using a regular melee, so I don't have the extended range that these swords have. But okay. So yeah, Sofek, go for it, my fella. Don't be ashamed of how you sound. And work on it, you know. Probably the first videos you are gonna record yourself with your own voice are not gonna be very good. But that's how it is, you know. It's the nature of things, how it goes. You get better with practice. I managed to hit him there, but he will escape, no problem. Let's try to help against this medic here. Very nice. I remember when I started making YouTube, that was almost 10 years ago now. I would kind of like speak to the inside. So instead of actually projecting my voice to make people hear me, I would talk like this, you know. I'm making a video, I'm talking about this, you know, something like that. And it's something that I think everyone does when they are starting this, because you really have to learn how to project your voice to other people, be able to listen you properly. I feel like I'm better at that in my Brazilian channel because I'm I'm not speaking my native language here, but I think I do a good enough job even here, you know. It's kind of like your attitude as well. So that's it. Hey, Trolleyfish is there on chat. Hello there, Trolleyfish. Glad to have you here, my friend. Very nice to have you here. Ah, it's Sofek saying, thanks for the advice, Professor. Here's a heart to you, Sofek. Go for it. And Mr. Cropliner is saying, I got notified that there is another live stream going on, but I'm going to stay here. Ah, thank you very much, Cropliner. Thank you so much. I appreciate you keeping us company here with everyone else. Thanks a lot, my friend. It is very nice. And Dominic saying, I would love if Professor made a 12 versus 12 server with stopwatch mode. I will absolutely play it. Ah, that's good to know, Dominic. You know, if I were to make a stopwatch mode server, I don't really think I would make it 12 versus 12. I think if I were to go for it, you know, doing something like that, I would probably make a Highlander server or a Pro Lander server, which is a game mode that uses 7 versus 7, I think. 12 versus 12 stopwatch mode, I think, can be very hectic and chaotic, you know. It kind of loses its structure, which is fine for casual, but then again, stopwatch doesn't really work well with casual, in my opinion, you know, with casual play. So I have that idea in the back of my head, but I think I would go for a 6 versus 6. Could be fun, but I actually prefer Highlander and Pro Lander. I think they are more engaging to play than 6 versus 6. When you are playing with random people, you know, when you are not on a closed team. That's what I mean to say. So yeah. Hi, Dark Knight's there. I saw you were using the Linux Penguin I gave to you on your heavy. It's so cute. Ah, thank you so much for the gift, Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm using it on my heavy loadout. You know, I think it really, those cute cosmetics, like animal cosmetics, I think they go very well with the heavy weapons guy, you know, because, I don't know, heavy is intimidating to look at, and then you have a cute animal there on his shoulder. I think it gives some good contrast to him, you know, so that's why I like it. But thank you very much, my friend. I really love that cosmetic. And it is so cute. I adore it. And the name you gave it to it was a lot of fun. I really like that. Okay, I have to be careful around soldiers. I have crits. Ah, it's because my teammates capture the intelligence. Very nice. But yeah, I like that, Dark. Thank you very much, my friend. What else are you saying? Alison is saying there, Professor Petonildo ASMR. When I was talking like this. ASMR. I'm gonna get one of those microphones that is shaped like an ear, you know. That some Twitch streamers like to use. You know, I think they are called what, binaural microphones, isn't it? Because there are two, one on each side to kind of simulate the ears of the viewers. And then I'm gonna make some ASMR. Allison. No, I'm not gonna do that, fellas. Don't worry, rest assured. But it's a funny idea for sure. Hi, Trolleyfish saying there, congrats on your recent video, it got a lot of attention. Ah, thanks so much, Trolleyfish. Yeah, you know, it blew my mind. I knew that would be a sort of like an interesting topic, you know, an engaging topic. Especially because the thumbnail, I think I've outdone myself in that thumbnail. I think it is a 10 out of 10. That thumbnail work was excellent, you know, not to pat myself on my back. And the title as well, you know, kind of like we need a free TF2 is also engaging. Like people would go, what does that mean? TF2 is free, what is this? Click the video, you know. So that was my idea with how I framed that video. And I think that helped a lot because the subject is something that I find very important, you know, discussing TF2's future, and that, you know, I believe it should be in the free software and open source software space, you know, to actually make this game last forever. But I didn't imagine it would catch people's attention like that, and I was very happy to see I have to go the other way. I was very happy to see people commenting on it, you know, kind of like sharing their opinions and engaging with the discussion. That really was my goal. And it really is. Whenever I make one of those discussion videos, I want people to discuss it, to talk about it, to kind of like disagree with me and explain why they disagree or why they agree. I always appreciate that. So thank you so much, Trollfish. And thank you all, fellas, for actually enjoying my content and being here for me. I really appreciate that, my friends. I am actually already working on a follow-up to that video. The script is already complete. I just have to translate it because I always write my scripts in English to make a video for this channel and also in Portuguese to make a video on my Brazilian channel. You know, I kind of release two of the same video on different languages. But the English version of the script is already complete, and I think you fellas are gonna find it very interesting as well. Not to spoil too much about it, but it will be sort of like a framework, a workflow to make that idea of a free and open source clone of TF2 come to fruition. You know, I derived, I think that's how you say, I derived a plan to make that a reality. It's kind of a stupid plan, but it is a plan. And I hope you fellas find it interesting. So keep an eye out for that. I'll try to publish it on Friday as a premiere, just like I did with the previous video. So keep an eye out for that. To be very interesting, I believe. So yeah. And Cropliner is asking if I ever got slapped by a fish. In real life, no, but on TF2, yes, for sure. And Meme Time saying, average heavy main here, tips from me, have a sandwich equipped always. Yeah, for sure, that's a good tip, Meme Time. I also think the Dalocos bar and the banana are good options, you know. The sandwich is better overall, but those other two unlocks can be a lot of fun to play with. And they can be very useful, depending on what you are trying to do. If you want to make sure your medic and teammates stay alive, the sandwich is a better choice, I think. But if you want to increase your survivability, you know, to make sure you don't die to random silly stuff, then I think the banana or the Dalocos bar are way better. You know, the Dalocos bar because it gives you extra health, kind of like your maximal health is increased for a while. And the banana because it recharges very fast, so you eat one and then you can have another one ready very quickly. So yeah. And Anya Singh is asking where I'm from. I'm from Brazil. I think it's Anya Drop Singh, is that how it is pronounced, her name? But yeah, I'm from Brazil. And you're also asking if TF2 is free. Yeah, it is free to play, so you don't have to pay anything to play on Steam, but it isn't free software. So, you know, in the sense of you can freely distribute and modify it like free software, like for example, Blender, GIMP, you know, Krita, those softwares that are free and open source. So TF2 is free in the sense that it is free of charge, but it isn't free in the sense of free software, you know, of freedom. That's what I mean to say. So yeah. And the point of that video that I made earlier this week is that I believe that we should have a version of TF2 that can be freely distributed and modified by anyone, you know, legally. If we want this game to be preserved for future generations and for posterity, you know. Because as it is right now, we are solely depending on Valve to make sure this game is available. And my neighbor is really going at it at the karaoke. I hope it is not disturbing you fellas. But yeah. Hey, only Zenot. Hello there. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the stream. Enrica the Freaka. Hey, Rika. I asked about you last stream because Alison was here last stream as well. So I'm glad you're here. Very nice to have you here, my friend Rika. It's been a while. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And Dr. Kebab is saying there, are you sure? Are you sure we should play for half an hour on the same map? I don't know, Dr. Kebab. You fellas decide. Because I think, yeah, there is 20 minutes of map time here. If you fellas want to switch maps, just run a vote for it and we'll see what people think, you know. No problem about it. But I think this map is one that it is worth playing for half an hour, this one. I would not mind it, because I think it is a very good capture the flag map. This one is Frosty, for those of you unaware. It is on the Steam Workshop. You can look for it, CTF Frosty. Very good map, actually. I'm not a big fan of Capture the Flag as a game mode, because I feel like, you know, just like Payload Race, for example, it is very easy for people to just deathmatch and forget about the game of objective. And I enjoy TF2 more when it is played for the objective, I think. I think it is more fun, you know. So Capture the Flag can be a bit tiresome sometimes. But this map, I think, has an interesting layout and it is quite diverse. So it is fun. Kinda like CTF Sawmill, you know. And not so much like Two Fort or Turbine, which aren't very, you know, interesting maps, I think, in my personal opinion. So yeah. But if you fellas want to change maps, just come here on the menu, call a vote, and then change map or set the next map, whatever you fellas want. We have a bunch of community-made maps here on the bottom of the list, you know, of these workshop ones that we can also try. So it's a lot of fun. My servers they are not exactly vanilla because come on, Dark Knights. Because I think random crits are disabled and random spread is also disabled. When I respawn, I'll check the spread part of it. But other than that, they are as close to vanilla as possible. You know, we have class limits, but it is like 4 of each class. So there's plenty of room for people who want to play, for example, sniper or spy. Let's see the spread here. Let's see if it is fixed. Yeah, I have fixed spread here. You see? There is no random spread on my bullets. And I know some people don't like that, but I actually like it. I think it is more fair, you know, and actually rewards skill instead of making you depend on a little bit of luck because of the random spread. So yeah, but that's my opinion, you know. Feel free to disagree with that. What else are you saying there? Sofex saying there, after this stream, you should join your neighbor and help with the karaoke. That would be funny. That would be a lot of fun, Sofex. I'm not really a fan of karaoke, you know. I don't know. I think I am a competent singer, you know, not like a good singer, but no one will die from hearing me sing. But at the same time, I think, you know, karaoke would not be a problem. I would not have a bad opinion on it if it was done like it is done in some Asian countries, you know, in which if you want to sing karaoke, then you go to a place which has a proper karaoke booth for you, so you can sing to your heart's content without annoying anyone. But here in Brazil, it is very common for people to listen to very loud music, you know, to the point that, not in regards to my neighbor. My neighbor is a great person. I'm very okay with them. But for example, there's a bar at the front of where I live, and more than once people from my neighborhood had to call the police because of loud noise, you know, very, very loud noise, you know, loud to the point that the windows were shaking, stuff like that. So, and karaoke, I think, is part of that problem, you know, here in Brazil at least. So I'm not really a fan. So let my neighbor have fun there. He's not annoying anyone, so that's okay. The volume isn't that loud even. But it is a problem here in Brazil. I don't know how it is in your country, but here in Brazil there's even when you go to the, because our police has a website where you can report those sorts of problems. There's even a category called pancadão, which is the name we use here in Brazil to a party on the street with cars that have very loud sound, you know, on the car, like automotive sound. And it is annoying, to say the least. So yeah, pancadão. That's how we say that in Brazil. What else are you saying there? Let me see here. And Mr. Cropline is talking about spawning bread on teleporters. Yeah, there is one type of bread for each class, if you go through a teleporter. I remember when that started. Rika is giving gifts. Ah, that's so wholesome, Rika. Very nice to see you doing that once again. Look at that. Look at that, very nice. And Dark Knight got twice, got 2 gifts. Mista as well, very nice. Rika is wholesome. Apple is also getting a bunch of gifts. Dark Knight got 3 gifts. Come on, Dark Knight, you are so lucky. You are so lucky. Very nice, Rika. Thank you so much for gifting fellas here at the server. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Very nice, very nice. And yeah, I remember about the teleporting bread. I remember when that started, and it kind of like started without explanation. Suddenly we were playing TF2 and poof, there was a bread there on the floor. And everyone was like, what is this? Why is there bread on teleporters? It was crazy. I remember that. If you look for it, I think there is a video from, I think, Crocodile. Yeah, an animator, a source maker animator. I think that's the name, Crocodile, I think it is. Kind of like crocodile, but Crocodile with a new. I don't know that's how it's pronounced, but it's a funny name. And they made an animation that was like kind of like everyone freaking out, you know, about bread. It was very funny, and it really captured how it was, that feeling. Come on, yeah, Dr. Kebab here, trying with the Ula Pool Caber, didn't have much success. Let's push the cart here. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, very fun. Hey Delta, glad to have you here as well, Delta. Very nice, very nice. And Alison is asking if I ever played the original Doom. I recently gave it a try and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you know, it's very surprising how well it holds up today, especially if you use one of the improved versions of the Doom engine. I think, at least from those I tried, the best one was GZ Doom. It's kind of like an improvement pack for Doom, you know, a reworked engine to have some more modern features. It doesn't really change how the game looks or plays, but it, for example, allows you to have a bit more flexibility with the controls, you know, with the resolution of the window in which the game is played. That Scout's gonna come through here. Yeah, you see? Let's punish them for doing this, okay? Let's try not to die as well, because if we die, we are lost here, but okay, we managed. So yeah, I would recommend, Alison, you try playing it with one of those improved engines. The GZ Doom is the one I recommend, but it is very surprising how well the original Doom holds up. It is a very good game, even today. And you know, most of those classic and genre defining FPS games like Quake, for example, I know that Quake 1 holds up very well as well. So perhaps you should try playing that one next, you know, could be fun. And to tie in with my last video, the original Doom engine, for example, was open sourced by id Software. And that's why we can nowadays have those improvement projects. So when I say that I wish TF2 was open source, it's something like that I'm actually trying to imply, you know, that I think it would be nice if Valve did with TF2 as id Software did with Doom, the original Doom, Doom 1 and 2, and 3 even. Doom 3 is also open source, has been open sourced, at least the engine, and Quake, you know. The Quake games from 1 to 3 were also open sourced, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Uncle Leo is thinking about his life here. Okay, let's go, my friend. But yeah, Doom is great. If you never played, fellas, go play it. And also the 2016 Doom, the remake, is excellent. I really like it as well. I have not played Doom Eternal yet, but the 2016 version of Doom was excellent. I really like it. And Delta is talking about the Brazilian noises on street, the pancadão, paredão, yeah, that's another way to say it. Fluxo, we also have that, it's another way to say that sort of illegal, not illegal, but yeah, it is kind of illegal, because it is against the law to do that on public, you know, public streets, you know, but yeah, it is, but it isn't illegal, actually. Those very noisy parties on the street, you know, so that we have some of those here in Brazil. So yeah. And Red is saying there, yo, drop a 20,000 and I give you a key you have on life. What? I don't understand, Red, what you're saying there. I didn't get what you're trying to communicate. And you're asking what languages do I speak? Portuguese is my native language, you know, Brazilian Portuguese. There is actually Portuguese, you know, the European Portuguese, which is a bit different than Brazilian Portuguese. So my native language is Brazilian Portuguese. I speak English, you know, not kind of like a native English speaker, but I think I am proficient enough with it to communicate with you fellas. It seems so to me, at least. I speak a bit of Spanish, you know, I studied Spanish at school, so I know some of it, and a little bit of French, and I know also very little bit of German and Japanese. I studied that just out of curiosity on Duolingo for a bit, so I can identify some words here and there, but I wouldn't say I can speak German or Japanese. But French, Spanish, I can read very well. And English, I think I can speak relatively well, you know, enough at least. And Portuguese, which is my native language. Portuguese is actually kind of a weird one, because, you know, it is spoken by a lot of people around the world, but it isn't a very international language. Kind of like, it's not like Spanish, for example, or English for that matter as well. So yeah. And Apple is saying there, in my home country of Bosnia and Herzegovina, I hear music at 3 AM because of some random grandpas. Yeah, the random grandpas listening to music at 3 AM. That's interesting. Here in Brazil, we also have random grandpas who like to listen to loud music, but they often do that during the day, you know, especially in the morning. Kind of like up until noon, and after that it's sort of like they go to sleep because they get tired. We have here in Brazil an habit, you know, not me, but a lot of people do have. It's kind of a cultural thing of taking a nap after lunch in the afternoon, kind of like from 1 p.m. to 2 or 3 p.m. There is a lot of people who have this habit of napping in that time, and that's what the random grandpas do here in Brazil. They go take a nap, so they turn off the music, and then it's okay from there. It's usually younger folk who really kind of like disrespect everyone's public peace with loud music here in Brazil, in general at least. Okay. Yeah, nice. Let's try to escape. Yeah, that Heavy has blood in his eyes. He's trying to seek me at all costs, you see. Very nice, very nice. Hey, hello there, Galo. Glad to have you here as well, my friend. Very nice to see you here on stream. And Alison is saying that Quake 1 is super fun. Yeah, totally worth it. Great game, great game. it's no wonder it really was that important in the history of first-person shooters, both Doom and Quake. I'd even say, and that's a bit controversial, you know, I'd even say that kind of like Half-Life pales in comparison to Doom and Quake. Half-Life was very important when it came out, because it kind of like promoted a change in how we think about first-person shooters, you know. Instead of going from level to level, more like a linear, continuous experience. But the gameplay for Half-Life, I tried playing it again a couple of years ago. I don't think it is that good, you know. Sometimes it is even bad, I think, the gameplay of Half-Life. And I think what was actually more important wasn't Half-Life per se, but the things that spawned from Half-Life. Especially the modding community. You know, things like Team Fortress Classic, Counter-Strike 1.6, you know, stuff like that. I think was more important for games than Half-Life itself. Because I remember I think there still is, but the community for Half-Life mods was huge back in the day. And I loved, for example, to go on some mod repositories and websites that you could go to share those things and download random mods, you know, total conversion mods, mods that would change the game completely, or just other campaigns for single player campaigns for Half-Life. It was a lot of fun doing that, you know. Half-Life was kind of like a platform for people to build games on. And I think that was actually more... come on. Come on, Meme Time. I think that was actually more impactful than Half-Life the game itself. So yeah, you know, kind of like the gameplay of Half-Life. That's what I mean to say. So yeah. What else are you saying there? Alison is saying my English is great. Thank you so much, Alison. I appreciate it. Enrica is agreeing. Thank you very much, fellas. I really appreciate it. And the other animator is asking my opinion on Super Mario 64. I never played a lot of it, but I think it is a lot of fun. And one of those defining games, you know, that changed the history of video gaming, for sure. I have still to play it fully, but I remember when I was a kid, it was mind-blowing to me. I even remember one day in which I went with my mother to a store at the mall in our city, and it was kind of a lame thing to do because she had to buy some clothes and some things like that. So we went to a large store, one of those that sell, you know, from electronics to bath towels, you know, one of those stores. And there was a stand for a Nintendo 64 that was running both the Star Wars Episode 1, that racing game from Star Wars, Pod Racer, I think that's how it's called, from Star Wars Episode 1, and Super Mario 64. And I was looking at it, and I remember vividly that a salesman, you know, someone who worked at the store, approached me and asked me, do you want to play the Nintendo 64 while your mother does her shopping? And I was like, hell yeah! And it was a lot of fun. It's one of those experiences from my childhood that, when you think about it, it is very trivial stuff, but I really remember that day vividly. That salesman was really the MVP that day, you know, the most valuable player. He really helped me out. So yeah, it was a wholesome thing for him to do, I think. Come on, engineer. Come on. Stop doing that. I can't even double jump here. I want to try and get the sniper. Yeah, you see? Uncle Leo was ready for me, but I was even more ready. Okay, let's get the sniper here. Let's get the medics now. You see, they are starting to get concerned. Like that. Okay, let's try to dish out some damage. Nice. Now let's... Nice! Thank you so much, Mista. Very, very nice. The spies here are doing some work. Really cool, pretty cool. But yeah, I never played a lot of Super Mario 64. But it is a cool game. When I was a child, I actually had a Sega Genesis, which here in Brazil it was called the Mega Drive. I think in Europe and Japan it is also called Mega Drive. And then I had a Sony PlayStation when I was about kind of like 12, 13 years old. I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped and Resident Evil. And I love those games to this day. Very nice. And also is talking there about Half-Life. The game I was saying isn't that good. But she's saying there, Half-Life 1 is another cornerstone of the genre. And it was great to play, but I have to agree that Quake has it beat in terms of gameplay. Yeah, you know, I think when people remember Half-Life fondly, they are not so much remembering the gameplay, but actually the universe, the lore, the ecosystem, the narrative of Half-Life, because even if Half-Life doesn't really have a strong story going for it, that experience of being dropped into a world that looked like a real thing, at least for the time, you know, that really was something for us. And I think Half-Life 2 had the same impact, you know, because it was the same thing that Half-Life 1 did, but like cranked to 11. So it was very interesting. A shame Valve never really released a Half-Life 3, you know. Everyone's like, oh no, they didn't do it because they feel like they would just be doing the same thing over again, but they kind of did that with Half-Life 2, if you think about it. Very hard, you know, it's more of the same thing, but with more bells and whistles. So I think there was opportunity for a Half-Life 3 in the last like 10 years. So it is a shame they didn't release it. What else are you saying there? Dr. Kebab is asking, why is your scattergun named Stanley Hotel? This one here, right? A subscriber gifted it to me with that name. And if I'm not mistaken, this war paint that I have here, Cabin Fevered, I think it is a reference to a horror movie. I think to The Shining, if I'm not mistaken. There's kind of like the pattern of this war paint is at least similar to what there is in the hotel in which that movie takes place. And I think that hotel is called Stanley Hotel. So I think that's the story. I'm not sure because it's not a name that I gave to this scattergun. When I got it as a gift from a subscriber, it already had that name. So that's the story of it. Nice, managed to help there against the enemy. Very nice. Hey, Mustache, glad to have you here, Mustache. Always nice when you show up here on stream. And Galo is asking why I don't use HUDs. The other animator is answering for you. TF2 default HUD is good. Yeah, that's kinda why, Galo. I don't really use custom HUDs. I like the default HUD. Back in the day I don't even know if it still exists, but I used a HUD called Eevee HUD, which I really like. I think it was the HUD that Star used for a while. I remember I saw in some YouTuber's video and I liked the look of it, and then I started using it. Come on. I should have closed in more before I started shooting that demo, man. Dr. Kebab there. But what used to happen, you know, when TF2 was regularly updated, is that from time to time the game would update and the HUD would break. So, you know, sometimes my game would crash, or I wouldn't even be able to boot up the game because of the custom HUD I was using. And I got annoyed, you know, by that, and then I said, screw it, I'm not gonna use custom HUDs anymore. I'm just gonna use the default HUD for the game. And then I got used to it, because really it is very good, you know. Or even if you don't think it is very good, it is good enough to play a game. I think it even comes a time in your trajectory as a TF2 player in which you don't really have to look at the HUD to know how you are going, you know, how many ammunition you have and how many health you have and all of that. I find that sometimes I'm doing stuff and I'm not really paying attention to what's showing up on the HUD. It's a weird thing, you know. Come on, the medic died there, but at least I managed to get Rika as well. So we traded there, one medic for another medic. Don't know if it was a good trade, but it was a trade for sure. So yeah, that's why I stopped using why I stopped using custom HUDs, and now I only use the default HUD. I had a stroke there for a while. In regard to mods, nowadays the only thing I do differently on my TF2 is I use the master config, which I think is the best way to play TF2, you know. You can really configure how you want your TF2 to look and perform, and it helps a lot with performance. I'm not sure, but I think the preset I am using is the medium preset with some tweaks. For example, I enabled facial animations and war paints and that sort of stuff. But I really like master config. Master cons does an excellent job with it. I just wish it would become a default part of TF2, you know, that Valve would integrate the fixes into TF2. I know it's more complicated than simply getting the master config and putting it into the game. I know it is more difficult than okay, than simply that, but I wish it were done. I think everyone would benefit from it. So yeah. And Lucas is asking, why don't you use default plus? I think, now that you mention Lucas, I think I do. I remember there was a bug with the HUD of TF2 in Linux, in which some windows would kind of like spaz out and you know, change places. If you look into my older videos, you'll probably see that bug happening. Sort of like a window suddenly would change places, you know, get all enlarged and then reduce and shrink. It was a very weird thing that happened when I was in spectator mode. And I remember a subscriber suggested a mod that would fix that for me. And I think that mod was default HUD plus. I think that is. It is on GitHub. I remember I downloaded it from there. So yeah, I probably use that as well. Very important thing to remember. But back in the day, I would mod the game a lot. I had kind of like a funny sound for the sticky bomb launcher. I don't know if you fellas ever watched the... I don't think that is the name of it, but I think if you look for it on YouTube, Mine Turtle. You know, mine like the bomb, a mine turtle. There was a little music, you know, an animation, something like that would say, Mine Turtle, yeah! And the Mine Turtle wasn't a turtle that would say, hello! And then explode, you know. That was the thing with the Mine Turtle. And I had installed a mod that was just that. When you press the right button to explode your sticky bombs, you would hear hello, and then everything would explode. It was very funny. I had another one that was like when you lose a match, it would play that sound from, I think it is Daytona USA, the racing game for the Sega Saturn. That when you, or is it Sega Rally? Now I'm not sure, but I think it is Daytona USA. That when you lose a race, it says... No, I think it is Sega Rally. Regardless, it says, game over, yeah! Kinda like you lost, game over, but it is a very happy and catchy song, you know. So that was another mod I used to have installed. And it was a lot of fun because we would lose matches and we would be happy because, you know, game over, yeah, game over. If you don't know about what that sound is, you probably won't understand it, but look for it, game over, yeah, on YouTube, you'll probably find it. And another one I really liked was a particle mod for the medigun that would turn the crosses, you know, from the med beam into little hearts. So it was like you were sending love to your healing target. That was wholesome. I think I stopped using all those mods because what happened is kind of like I started making videos and new players and subscribers were confused by all those mods. Kind of like, how do you make TF2 look like this? What is this? What's going on? You know, they were confused about it. And I think I really went away from using those mods because of that, to make it easier for newer players and viewers to follow my videos. So, you know, don't be distracted by those things. And even the minimal view models that I have used that are not a mod, by the way, you can enable here on the advanced options these smaller view models that are kind of lower on the screen. Even those I get a lot of questions about to this day. So I imagine if I were still using those random mods, people would be very confused. But it was a lot of fun, for sure. I highly recommend you fellas go to Game Banana and download and install some mods. There are some very nice fun things there. So yeah. What else are you saying? Ellison is asking about the new Sonic game, if I have any thoughts on it. I've saw it, Ellison, and you know, I don't know, I don't feel anything about it, really. My thing with Sega is like, and Sonic games, is that they have an easy path set out for them. All they have to do is make Sonic Generations 2. And that's it. And then after like 5 years or 5 to 10 years, they have to make Sonic Generations 3. And just that's all they have to do. And they keep inventing, kind of like, oh no, Sonic can't be Sonic. He has to have a different gimmick. He has to be on an open world, you know. It has to be different every time. That kind of like got me tired of Sonic. So I'm neither hyped nor disappointed for it. I'm paying a little bit of attention whenever something new comes out about it, but I don't have any strong opinions about that game. I don't know. I think it's gonna be okay, probably, but not excellent. That's my expectations there. Dark Knight is saying there, I've tried, lads. Thank you so much for trying, Dark. What matters is you are here with us having fun, for sure. And he's also saying, I have PTSD when I see Product, this map, because I remember my competitive matches I had on it. They were so stressful. I'm sorry for you, my friend Dark Knight, that your matches were stressful. You know, I know that competitive can be a bit toxic. You know, a lot toxic, especially here in Brazil. But every time that I played competitive formats, you know, like 6 vs 6 and stuff like that, I had a lot of fun. Because I didn't have anyone shouting in my ear. Since all the matches I've played were, you know, they were competitive styled, but they were just casual mixes, you know. Like, there's nothing at stake. So they were actually very enjoyable. I had a lot of fun. I even got the opportunity to play against, for those of you here on this channel who don't know about that, I got the opportunity to play against the best Brazilian competitive team at the time. It was an event. I even have the badge for it. I really, you know, am proud of participating. Where is it? Let me check here. Let me see on my inventory if I can find that badge. Where is it? Where is this one here? See, genuine cursed assistant. This one. I have the one that regular players got, but I also have this one here. Genuine cursed assistant. It was sort of a Halloween event, and the organizers made a YouTubers versus pro players match. You know, calling a bunch of people who at the time were Brazilian TF2 YouTubers. Nowadays, I'm really the only one left. I'm the last of my kind here in Brazil, you know, most of the time. And it was a lot of fun playing against really good players. I had a blast, you know, got absolutely destroyed by them. But it was so much fun. We laughed a lot that day. It was great. So yeah. And Mustache saying there, recently I installed Rodrigo Faro's Kill Sound. Rodrigo Faro is a Brazilian actor, isn't it? And Hit Sound, and it makes me happier to play TF2. Wow, that's a lot of fun. Very nice. Yeah, you know, there's a lot you can do with kill sounds and hit sounds. So much wacky and funny things you can hear. It's great. Galo is saying that he's from Northeast Brazil. I'm from the Southeast, by the way. But even so, his ping is 65. Yeah, you are actually closer, Galo, to the server, to the data center in Miami than I am. So perhaps that's why your ping is 65. I have, what, 133. Because I'm further south. You know, Miami is in the United States, so you are closer to it, being the northeast of Brazil. I actually opened this Miami server for two reasons. First, you know, to have a server in the US for my US subscribers, at least those in the East Coast. I hope to have a West Coast and a central US server someday, but currently I don't really have the funds to expand. Let's do this, Leo, to another server, to another region. But the other reason why I opened this Miami server was because I had some subscribers in the northern regions of Brazil, so the north, the northeast, those regions, who had very high ping in my Brazilian servers, which are hosted in São Paulo, so in the southeast of Brazil. And, you know, having a server more to the north was better for them, just as it is better for you, Galo. Very interesting. Very nice. Enrique De Frica is talking about Sonic games. I've been saying this about Sonic for years, Professor. Sonic needs to have Generations 2. Yeah, and Mania 2. Just that, you know. Sega could simply survive out of making Generations games forever, because there is enough content for that in the history of Sonic games. And also Mania games. Just, you know, hire the fellas who made Sonic Mania again and have them do Sonic Mania 2. And, you know, pull more levels from Sonic's history and make Generations 2, and 10 years from them make Generations 3 and so forth. I agree with that, Rika. It's just that it's not hard, it's simple, but they have to always kind of like, no, we want to innovate with Sonic. If you want to innovate, then make a new franchise, you know, develop a new IP. Try something really different. If you want to innovate, don't mess with Sonic. Let Sonic be Sonic and play like Sonic, like we expect Sonic to play. Uncle Leo really is going for the melee kills today. It's so funny to see that. And I died. Okay. And Omar is saying, no offense, you sound like Gru, but he had his evil words stripped. I don't know if that's offensive, how that would be offensive, Omar. So yeah, Gru is a wholesome character. You mean Gru from the I don't know how it's called in English, but that movie with the minions, isn't it? With those little yellow characters. He's a wholesome character. I've only watched the first one of those animations, of those animated movies, but I actually really like it. It was very fun. That other one with the guy with a large head, you know, the blue guy, I think it is Megamind, I think it is called, is a better movie, in my opinion. But the one with Gru is also nice. It's wholesome. So yeah, fellas, I think I'll be ending stream right now. We are getting close to 1 hour, and that's usually for how long I stream on Sundays, for those of you who are new here. By the way, welcome. But thank you very much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity we have to sit down, have some fun, you know, play some TF2 and chat. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much, fellas, for making me company on this Sunday afternoon. Let me just check what you're saying there. Nico just arrived, so sorry, Nico. Next week, try to get here sooner so you don't miss stream. But again, you can watch the recording of it. All my streams are always left here on the channel as recordings, so you fellas can watch them. So yeah. What else? What else? And Ellison talking there about Balan Wonderworlds. Yeah, you know, but Balan Wonderworlds was published by Squaresoft, wasn't it? I don't think it was Sega. It was Yuji Naka, one of the creators of Sonic. But if I remember correctly, it was published by Squaresoft. By Squaresoft doesn't exist. by Square Enix. Yeah, it's been a while since they merged with Enix. So yeah, fellas, thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. And pay attention to your subscriber feed, because again, on Friday, I should be able to post the next discussion video. So if you enjoyed my latest video, keep an eye out for that. It will be a follow-up. So yeah, here's a big heart for everyone. I love all of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, fellas. Have a